What if from birth your only two options were to become food for others to devour or a monster for people to kill? This is the question Dev Patel poses in his directorial breakout, Monkey Man. Briefly, Monkey Man follows a young man who unleashes a campaign of vengeance against the corrupt leaders who murdered his mother. What I assumed would be a simple revenge plot about a man trying to survive ends up being a deep exploration about justice and inequality. We meet Kid, our nameless hero, working at an underground fight club. Night after night, he is forced to endure beating after beating for a meager paycheck in order to survive. He wears a monkey mask, which at first does seem like an accurate representation of his circumstances, a monkey in a cage. However, as the movie goes on, it becomes very clear that this monkey does not represent prey, but a warrior with strength and courage. The film can be divided into two parts, death and resurrection. When we first meet Kid, he is all but invisible. He lives comfortably in the shadows, in the dark, fighting for scraps to survive. The only home he has ever known was stolen from him by a government that built their wealth on the backs of those most vulnerable. Despite being a highly skilled fighter with an unbelievably high tolerance for pain, he never fights back. Even when the moment does arrive, when he does get the opportunity to avenge his mother, he freezes. He almost wonders if such an act is possible. In other words, if someone like him could ever kill a man like that. Suddenly, a man that was completely invisible to the world becomes the most wanted individual in India. Despite being shot and beat to oblivion, he is saved by a community of outcasts, and it is through this trans community that he's able to resurrect himself and find purpose and meaning outside of himself. Kid's resurrection, I thought, was absolutely spectacular because when we compare our hero in the first part of the movie to the second, it is night and day. Dev Patel's Kid is a very unique hero in that he actually does have the capabilities to fight back. However, he believes that he cannot. He grew up in India where your life is predetermined by the family you are born into. This can determine what kind of jobs you get, who you marry, your social circle. And this system, this caste system, is so deeply embedded that even if individuals choose not to fight against it, they have accepted the validity of the system. A lot of Kid's limitations is mental. The reason he doesn't fight back is because he's been conditioned over time not to do so. Kid and others like him have internalized the belief that they are disposable and they should just wait patiently for their death. He hides a lot of his scars and his pains because people like him are used as a punching bag. This monkey mask that he wears throughout the film, he never discards the mask because it represents both his desire and inability to fight back. Briefly, the Monkey Man is based on the Monkey King, the Hanumana, a mythological character who led an army of soldiers in battle against demons. According to the legend, which is depicted in the film, Hanuman was a young boy. He angered the gods when he plucked what he thought was a ripe mango from the sky. This mango ended up being the hot burning sun. As punishment, he is stripped of all his powers and he's only able to regain his abilities when he is reminded of his strength, and more importantly, when he's able to think outside of himself and use his powers to help others. The Monkey King today, or the Hanuman, is actually a symbol for the poor and working class in India who dream about rising above their caste and making the world a more even playing field. At the start of the movie, Kid's Monkey Man is a clown, a pest meant to mock and destroy, and by the end of the movie, he's a hero that people are cheering for and actively rooting for. What makes the Monkey Man so unique is what it represents. Kid's journey really shows how those in power can demonize icons, symbols, and narratives that would otherwise inspire the average person into action. I felt his time with the trans community in India was really eye-opening. Here's a community that does not have the ability to fight back physically or socially. So much of learning how to fight back is having something to fight for. At one point, Kid actually baptizes the monkey mask in order to give it new meaning. And this new meaning is that he will never be mocked and he will never allow others to make a mockery out of him. It's not so much about winning or losing, it's more about being seen trying, having the audacity to go against the grain. Initially, when he confronts his demon, this man that murdered his mother, he's paralyzed. Initially, he did not want to be seen. He just wanted to shoot him in the back and get away with it. But for some reason, he stood there because he wanted this man to look him in the eye. He wanted him to know who did it, and for that he was nearly killed. And the second time he tries for his revenge, he dives in face first. And more so than that, he not only goes after his own demon, he goes after the man in charge of not only displacing him, but everyone like him from their homes, from their communities, and profiting off their suffering. We don't know much about the political figureheads in this film, but we get enough information to know that they're charlatans, complete liars. We are introduced to Baba Shakti, and he's basically a spiritual and religious guru who uses his influence to strip the average person of their land and their resources in order to enrich himself. Individuals such as himself really do exist, and they believe that they are chosen ones, that they are gods on earth. And religion can be both a beautiful thing and an incredibly destructive thing. And in this case, it showed how a lot of leaders and a lot of people in power will use religion to promote inaction, to promote dormancy, right? Like, don't fight for your rights. We will do it for you. Let your leaders take care of everything. And the way that individuals like Babi are able to weaponize religion in order to crack down on any dissent in order to maintain their wealth really shows how religion is key to maintaining this caste system in India, because what it does is it legitimizes an individual's wealth and position, not by merit, not by hard work or anything they've actually done, but by birthright, right? This divine birthright that they were meant to lead over others, and if they're not there, then everything will be destroyed. What's terrifying about people like Baba is that they really believe in their natural supremacy. And you see it towards the end of the film when he's begging and pleading Kid not to kill him, not to take him away from his people. Like, he's pleading to him like a peasant. He overvalues himself in this young man's eyes, and for that he is killed. People like Baba recognize the threat that individuals like Kid pose. They're basically like Nat Turners. They can inspire others to do the same. And I love the domino effect that Kid has. Once he decides to fight back, so does every single person that he's inspired by as well. The young woman who was working as a prostitute kills her madam. Alpha leads an army of outcasts. They always had the ability to fight back. It's just they never believed that they could. They were conditioned over time and throughout their lives that this is not possible. However, once they did choose to fight back, they were unstoppable. And again, they always had the ability to fight back. They just never really had the inspiration to do so. What you're fighting for is equally important as how you fight. The odds of Kid ever making it out of there alive were honestly slim to none. However, his act of bravery was so extraordinary that it will likely be mythologized, and it was a wonderful reminder that freedom is never given. It's always fought for, regardless of whatever the people in power want to tell you. So overall, I thought this was a fantastic film. It's a lot deeper than I think people give it credit for, and you guys let me know what you think.